Once again, you already know what it is, and you already know where you have reached. It's Clash of the Podcast. You know what I'm saying? We got my man Conrad Cushman in the building. I'm your man Sean Hubbard. Hubbard Wrestling Weekly's in here. Everything Pro Wrestling's in here. And you know what else is in here? The Bloodline is in here because we got a big show talking about the latest developments in the Bloodline. The Honorary Uce has been crystallized, immortalized, made whole. It's a 100% deal right now, and we're about to kick this thing off right now. Let's get it. Conrad, how you feeling, my brother? What's up?
It is another beautiful Monday. It's raining outside, but it's a beautiful Monday to me. So another, what is this? It's almost Raw. We got a good show coming up for Raw. I saw they had 5 matches booked. They told us about 5 matches. I'm impressed. So it's gonna be an interesting night of wrestling.
I'm not all the way turned up for Monday Night Raw. I'm still getting there. I'm a little bit more excited than I was, before Triple H took over. It's heading in the right direction, but I'll tell you what definitely is heading in the right direction, and that's that SmackDown main event storyline we got going right now, man. Yo, let's jump right into this thing, man. First of all, big shout out to you, man. Appreciate you and everything you do, Conrad. Everybody who's watching, make sure you hit the chat. Make sure you let us know what you're thinking, what your outlook is on the Bloodline and this new situation going on with, we got Solo Sikoa in the building, and we have the 100%, I guess you can say, crystallization of Sami Zayn being in the Bloodline as the Honorary Uce. They've been calling him the Honorary Uce. Jimmy's embraced him. Heyman has kind of embraced him. Roman hasn't really been on the scene. Solo loves him, but we all know who doesn't like him, and that's Jey Uso. But the bottom line is the big Uce, Roman Reigns, made it official. What are your thoughts, my brother?
I love the sheer fear of people's hearts when Roman Reigns said, "Take that shirt off." You could see it. They were like, "Oh, it's finally about to happen. My man's about to get it." And Jey Uso took so much glee in ripping that man's shirt off. Like,
He did. He
and
really did.
and it was just perfect. So this is how he looked before Roman threw the shirt at him. And I kept asking myself, Sean, why does this storyline work? And it's simple, bro. Everybody knows a Sami Zayn. Everybody knows someone who is the nerd in the group, the person that's the used one, the smacked around friend, and you're just waiting for them to turn on him. You're waiting for it. He wants to fit in so bad. He's just like, yes, I did the handshake. Come on, I'm with y'all. Trust me. He'll do anything. He is down. But you know the time is gonna come. And Sami Zayn to me is an incredible baby face. I didn't think he could pull the heel thing off. That was the one thing I'll admit. I didn't think that could ever happen. And it did.
But see, the thing for me is, bro, like, he's been a heel for quite some time. And to your point, I think you're accurate in what you were about to say because he hasn't pulled it off. It's been unsuccessful, in my opinion, this whole time until now. See, the whole, yeah, that's right. I said it. I haven't liked Sami Zayn since he became a heel. It's been very underwhelming in my opinion. And there's one thing I do feel is very important, and that's music change. Sometimes music change is a great thing, and sometimes it's a terrible thing. And I think in this case, it's been terrible. I think Sami Zayn has been terrible. That's right. I think Sami Zayn has been absolutely horrible. I think the Bloodline scenario has saved his career. I think it's sky's the limit from here on out. I think now when he goes back and the situation progresses with the Bloodline and he continues to flourish with the Bloodline and eventually the Bloodline break up or they break him off or whatever happens with Jay, it's all going to work out from here. So, let's put our hands together and say, hey, cheers to Sami Zayn. He got over the hump. But thank God for the Bloodline because Sami Zayn has stunk up until now.
Wow. Wow,
Yeah.
I'm going to disagree. But first, chat, tell me, what have you thought of Sami Zayn's run so far within the WWE? Damon, first one in the house saying, yo,
Yo.
what's good, Damon? Rob in the house saying, beautiful gray day in Buffalo, fitting after yesterday's atrocity. Yeah. Bills fans got to rest first so I can hear. Mr. Pro Wrestler 1 says, hey guys, what's good, Mr. Pro Wrestling? Appreciate it. Matt Lopez says, hello, what is going on?
The vibes.
Damon says, J-Face when Roman gave Sami the shirt. Yes, that was a money. Deanna says she wants the Honorary Uce shirt. Good luck. I heard they're tough to get right now. BJ in the house. Was good, BJ? Catch BJ every Friday. He does a little segment on the audio version of Everything Pro Wrestling. I appreciate him. The 10 count with BJ breaking down all the news of the week with some of his predictions. Jay's face looks like when your mom tells you you're getting a new baby brother or sister instead of a puppy. Sami Zayn and the Bloodline storyline is one of the best things going. I've been saying it for weeks. I feel like they took the Chase Owens honorary Tongan storyline and just made it better. Could be. Zayn does the underdog thing well. That was what I loved about him in NXT, Sean. I love the underdog. To me, he was one of the best sellers. He's up there with Rey Mysterio. It's like someone, when he's getting beat down, bro, I'm like, yo, end the match, dog. Like, this dude looks pitiful.
No.
Let me see here. We got a couple more. I know seeing KO Sami versus the Usos would be great, but what are the chances if Cody isn't back in time? Sami versus Roman at Mania? Man, you're asking for a lot. You better hope Rock don't want to come back. I don't see that as a Mania match, though. You either? I saw the face like, no.
No.
Okay. Demas said, nah, fam. Sami was over as a heel when he was the IC champ. In my opinion, he got the Bloodline storyline over because it was getting stale. Ooh, he's giving Sami all the credit for it. Much love to Sami as a babyface, better than a heel, but loving the Honorary Uce. Yeah, that was my point, Sean. I think he's done a great job with the whole conspiracy theory where, like, you could tell this was a Vince brainchild. He was like, I want you to be crazy. You know, and I think he didn't understand where he was from. So Sami took like the whole Fidel Castro thing. He tried to think, what will Vince understand? What will Vince get? And in real life, the rumor is Sami Zayn and Kevin Owens are annoying. They're annoying. And I think they just were like, let's just be ourselves on television and just turn it up a lot and just be really annoying people. And I think he found clever ways in the matches, handcuffing Jeff Hardy's ear to a ladder. He always found a way to stick out in his storylines, even when he was a manager for Shinsuke. Like, I'm like, they really know how to, like, he makes whatever you give him, he makes it the best that he can. Whether it's 10 minutes with Cesaro or that. And I think he's earned this spot, truthfully. Could he be in a main event for a pay-per-view? Yeah, I think he could be in a B-show main event, but I wouldn't give him Mania or any one of the big ones.
I have to disagree, man. I just feel like, and shout out to McKinney. I appreciate your opinion, but to me, Sami Zayn has been corny, you know. And to me, I'm real big, and you know this, Conrad. I'm real big on swag. I'm real big on good energy. I'm really big on appeal as it relates to like getting over. And some people may think he's gotten over, but if you think he's gotten over, then you need to look at how he is now. See, now he's over. Before it was lame to me. It was like, I thought he brought Shinsuke down, honestly. I thought it made Shinsuke a joke. I thought it made him a running joke. I think him coming out and dancing and acting crazy with Logan Paul was stupid. I thought the whole thing was corny, which is the reason why when he joined up with the Bloodline and Jay took a liking to him, it was more so along the part, Deanna, I see you. I respect where you're coming from. Part of what made the storyline work as it relates to him getting with the Bloodline is because Jay couldn't stand him, but Jimmy found him to be funny. That was the deal. Jimmy found him to be funny. Jimmy was like, yo, this cornball wants to ride with us. Let him just ride with us. It's all good. And then eventually he started to grow on Jimmy to the point where Jimmy actually started to like him. And then he started to show his worth and become a true member of the team. Before it was just like there was no purpose. See, we see Sami Zayn's purpose in the Bloodline. He's somebody who is a good diversion. He's somebody that can take the heat and make somebody, take a kick in the face from Drew McIntyre to help out Roman Reigns. Take a spear from somebody, take a clothesline from somebody. throwing a chair from outside the ring. He's doing his job, and he's being entertaining while doing it. Before, it was just like, okay, you're doing this little dance thing that you're doing, and your music has changed, and you're still just Kevin Owens' little friend. Now it's like, okay, you know what? He's over now. If you thought he was over before, he's over now. I salute Sami Zayn on this day, but a year ago, not so much.
I can hear you on that for that part. I'm getting some reverb. Sorry,
No problem.
I think, but when it comes to Sami Zayn, I guess Damon brought up good points about Sami had a gimmick in ROH where he was wearing a mask and he wasn't allowed to talk. That is absolutely insane now once you see it. And they probably told him to unmask. But Sami Zayn got trusted. Listen, bro, I'm going to be 100% honest with you guys. I thought WrestleMania this year was going to be the worst WrestleMania, Sean, of all time. We talked about WrestleMania 11. I'm like, yo, they've got a contender possibly here. And I will say his match with Johnny Knoxville was one of the things I'm like, bro, is this going to work? Johnny Knoxville's had like mad injuries. I don't know if he should be doing this. Sami Zayn made that work. It was the most entertaining. He said he took pride in it. Like, dude, you gave me this, and I'm gonna show you that I'm gonna make this entertaining to people. And he took it as a challenge rather than a demotion.
But look at what you're talking about, bro. See, we're talking about two different things. I agree with you 100% on that. He went out there at WrestleMania and he turned chicken, you know what, into chicken salad. 100%. But you know what? That was a match, and nobody will ever dispute how good he is in the match. I think Deanna's filmed me a little bit on the fact that I called him Kevin's little friend. It's like Sami Zayn needed purpose. Now he has purpose. And now that he's in the bloodline, and now that Jimmy has embraced him, and especially Roman has embraced him, now we have layers. We have something that we can go on. See, to me, what made him annoying to me was whether it was the Shinsuke thing or the Logan Paul thing or the whatever thing, it had no purpose. This has a purpose. You are the clown prince of the bloodline. You are the honorary Uce. You're the guy who's not really in, but now he's in. You've crossed over to being one of the family. And eventually, you're going to get kicked out of that family. And it's going to make sense. And it's going to be entertaining. And you're going to be over. Or the world's going to be shocked when Roman Reigns tells Jey Uso, get your crap together or you're out of the family. Remember,
and that's kind of the point that we want to talk about. There are ways you could go with this, and I kind of wanted to get into some theories with that. First, we got to give a shout out to my man Elijah Washington in the house. Up, Conrad. I'm liking the Sami story. It's growing on me. Good storytelling. Yeah, for real, I love it. I think it's the best thing in pro wrestling, and I said that. Kevin's friend laugh out loud. I see that. The babyface reaction when Sami comes back to the old NXT theme is going to be insane. I don't know if they have the rights to those themes, Matt. So what you were bringing up with the theme got corny. It's not really their fault. Something happened with CFOs. I don't know if the group broke up or something with WWE. There was some legality trouble with the music. That's why Sasha's music changed. Look at everyone who's in NXT at the time. All their music changed that CFOs did. Something happened. What? I don't know, though. Let me see here. Sami Zayn made his heel character work. You don't have to love it or hate it. Just got to respect it. That is a good point, Ace.
Wrong. Shout out to you, Ace. I do have to like it. Or I do have to hate it. That's the point. It's not about respect. I respect it as a competitor.
I took it as he meant that whether he's a good guy or bad guy, whether you want to cheer him or hate him, heel version. You know what I mean? I'm taking it in kayfabe what he said.
Okay, well, I mean, I'll take that clarification for what it's worth. I'm just simply saying that if we're talking about, I'll just go with what I was thinking. I need to love it or hate it. That's the whole point of professional wrestling. If I don't love it or hate it, what's the point?
Sup, guys? Sami's making a good storyline. What's going on, Randy? I appreciate you coming in here. Storytelling matters. We don't see that often in wrestling anymore. We see storytelling all the time. It's just when is it really good? To when you could love it. Rob says, not sure what ROH has to do with Sami, but if you're referring to El Generico, his last known whereabouts were an orphanage in a small village in Mexico. Ole. Terrible. Oh,
I want to put you on the spot, man. I want to put you on the spot.
Put me on the spots.
In professional, if you're talking about Hogan, if you're talking about Flair, if you're talking about HBK, Michaels, Taker, Austin, Rock, whoever you're talking about, Cena, Roman Reigns, what's the point? The point is to have, and I'm not jumping on the comment about love hate. I'm just kind of going off on my own tangent here. So just take this ride with me. Sami Zayn to me had no purpose, and if you have no purpose, you're on the verge of being endeavored. That's how I look at it. Because if you don't have a purpose, you're taking up TV time for no reason. So at the end of the day, all those guys that I just mentioned, I know they're main event guys, right? But even if you want to take mid card guys, they have to serve a purpose. Sami Zayn just found his purpose. He didn't have a purpose before. He had a purpose in NXT. He had a purpose when he came up for the United States Championship Challenge. He had a purpose when he was challenging for the Intercontinental title. But this kind of goofy jokester, dancing to music, ridiculously annoying, as you put it, it had no purpose. What happens next? And now we have something we can look at Sami Zayn and say, okay, you know what? Sami Zayn is involved. Sami Zayn has a purpose. Did Sami Zayn have a purpose before last Friday?
That's a good question. So here's how I took it with Sami. With Vince McMahon, I felt like Sami Zayn was safe because he's entertaining. He can do what Vince McMahon wants him to do. Let's equate him to a Rick the Model Martel for the old school fans. Like, Rick Martel's an excellent wrestler, but do you know why Rick Martel stayed around for so many years? Because you could give him whatever gimmick you wanted. I need you to be the strong baby face. I can do it. I need you to go out there and wrestle a good 15-minute match. Sure, I can do it. I need you to go out there and make Hogan look good. Okay, I got you. I need you to act like this person's manager. Okay. That's why Rick Martel was useful. So to me, Sami Zayn was never going anywhere. And I think he impressed Vince when he listened to Vince when he said, I want you to turn heel. He didn't say, I'm not doing it. I'm being resistant. He said, sure, no problem. Then he said, when I walked away, I thought, yo, can I do this? I don't think I've ever been a heel in years. I don't know how this is going to work. But then he said he tapped in and Vince started working with him. And he was like, oh, I see what he wants me to do. I can do that. Yeah. And then he was like, what if I do this too? And he said he got to put in some of his stuff. Vince loved it. And then boom, it worked. And I think Vince believed in him after that. And was Vince going this way with the storyline? I think so. I think we would have had a different thing than what I think is going to happen. And I'm sure we'll get into our theories here in a second with it. But BJ has given us the official CFO's comment here so we can know this. CFOs left their label and were fighting to keep their rights and were trying to be WWE's new Jim Johnston. But in the process, they had a falling out and split up. So when two people are collaborating, making music, I don't know what happens to the music. That would be like podcast rights. If somebody's knocking heads, maybe that's like the Joe Buttons thing kind of with his people.
Right.
Adam Brad has joined us. What's going on, Adam? Thank you so much for being in here. I appreciate you, fam. He said, sup, Conrad and Hubbard. What if this is leading to, hear me out, Sami Zayn used Roman to bring back The Rock and introduce him back, like they say, backstage or in the ring, then jump the bloodline, write him off, and KO. Ooh, so Sami versus the Uso at WrestleMania. KO and Sami versus the Usos. Okay. You're kind of hitting it on the head with what I'm setting up. Let me see here. Man, we got a lot of comments. I can see Sami was just putting spots. It's like a comparison to Jericho. Hear me out, Conrad. No comparison, but Sami Zayn reminded me of how Jericho was. You get him a character, a mic, he will make it work and still be entertaining, face or heel, Randy says. Okay. He was IC champ and Cesaro. And he was Cesaro and Shinsuke's mouthpiece. They were tag champs. His mic skills has purpose alone, Damon says. I agree with you, Hubbard, that Sami had no purpose until now. Whatever it is with this storyline, it will lead to him having another purpose. Okay. Adam says, Conrad, remember Roman Reigns said that he's a friend of Sami Zayn since SmackDown 2016. Also, Sami had a confrontation with Seth and Roman in a 6-man match on Raw. Yeah, I remember he did the thing with the Shield the one time too, where he put his hand in. They were looking at him like, "What are you doing, dog?" And they like kind of walked away from him. Sean, I want to hear your thoughts on this though. To wrap this segment up, what do you think is going to happen with Sami Zayn? Like, what is the perfect way you're the writer. Triple H says, Sean, come in my office. Sean, what do you do with this storyline now? We need to figure out how we're going to wrap this thing up. Put a bow on it for me. What do you do?
You cannot break up the bloodline. Okay, so but there can be a strong tease. There can be a strong tease, and the way I would do it, I would have Roman check Jay, and I would really push hard in that direction. I would have Solo. I would have even Jimmy. Like, hey, listen, man, this was kind of like fun at first, but now you're getting annoying. Like, are you jealous? And really push that angle, and then right at I'm talking about months and months and months of Jay on the verge of like being on the outs of the bloodline, and I'm talking about all the way up until like a moment of truth, whatever moment of truth that may be, when Sammy's finally comfortable and Sammy feels like he's hurdled Jay in the pecking order. The Usos beat the crap out of him.
Perfect. Perfect. So in my mind, if they brought me in, same question for me, I'm coming in there and I think what we do is you have Sammy become this person that you can absolutely trust. Sammy is the savior for a few weeks for Roman. Like, man, he took the finisher. Man, he knocked dude's head off. And you start to see maybe some jealousy, but then everybody starts to respect him. Sammy gets a big win for a match. They put him on the shoulders. They're like, yo, this is the dude. And even Roman's like, he's like, no, he's the one tonight. He's the one tonight, smiling. And Heyman, he looks at Heyman, and maybe Heyman's like, yeah, I agree. I agree with you, Roman. Because that's Paul's job. He's just supposed to sit there and agree.
Yeah.
We get into Survivor Series. What is Survivor Series' main thing this year? War Game. 5-on-5. Now, I don't care who you get on the other side. I know one of those people has to be Kevin Owens. It could be probably Drew, AJ. Find 5 baby faces. Whatever.
Just don't say that name. I won't. I can't stand. Please.
Which name is that?
You know what name it is? The name that I went crazy on last week.
No, we won't do that. That's a big no right now. But I hope they don't do that. I'd be so mad. I've heard people suggest it though.
I'm gonna go nuts. I'm gonna go nuts in a bad way if that dude is on this team.
The name he's referring to is Braun Strowman, but Sean's response is simple.
No, is my response. No. That's my response. I didn't mean to cut you off, man. Keep going.
No, that's just the soundboard, man. You go in. Sami Zayn is in there. And I don't know if they're going to do elimination style for Survivor Series. I don't know what they want to do for War Games, but you have to think about it if you want it to be elimination, because you could do so many different scenarios with it. But Roman Reigns is winning. They've got him. And maybe Sammy's stuck upside down. He's like, yo, guys, help me. And then that's when you see their true colors. Yo, forget him, dog. We're over here fighting. And maybe he's stuck upside down. He's like, yo, I can't do anything. Like, I give up, Or maybe he sees Roman's in trouble. He gives up for the team. And it looks like a selfless moment. And they look at him like, yo, he hasn't lost a match in how long? And you just did this? And they just start jaw-jacking him. And they start beating him down, whatever. Sammy could win a number 1 contendership. He's going to fight Roman Reigns at the Royal Rumble. He says, Roman, I can beat you, and I know I can. And everybody's letting him get stomped because he's been a heel for years. Why not let him get stomped out? Sammy finally gets his comeuppance. He gets stomped out. Mm-hmm. He loses to Roman Reigns in a valiant effort, but now they're beating on him again. And they're like, all right, that's enough, man. That's enough. And Sammy finally needs help. And Roman says, you know what, boys? I don't want nothing to do with this dude anymore. I'm done with him. I got bigger things to lead to. Hopefully it's if you smell. Hopefully that's where this is leading to. But who knows? Maybe it's wrestling has more than one royal family. Maybe it's him. I don't know. But Roman's going to go off and do something else. So he leaves the Usos and Solo. Well, Solo eventually can't do it. He tries to get him in a match. Sami gets a roll-up win on him, whatever you want it to be. Maybe the Blue Thunderbomb finally beats somebody. The Usos hop in. They're like, yo, we got to beat this dude down. They're jumping him, beating him down. Who comes to make the save but Kevin Owens? He's like, yo, you beat up my boy long enough, and I'm sick of it. He comes out. They set it up. The Usos are the longest-reigning tag champs by then. They'll have Demolition's record. I don't know if they beat the New Day's record. Maybe they'll be
actually before Demolition.
I know. I said they might beat both because right now they're number 3 of all time for Day's reigning.
Demolition's number 2 and New Day's number 1.
Doesn't it hurt your soul to say that now? For so many years, it was demolition, bro.
Crazy.
They go in there. WrestleMania is the big decrowning moment. You finally have Sami Zayn and Kevin Owens do it, and I think you let them do their Ring of Honor finishers on them because we've been asking for years when we're going to see the package pile driver. This is the match you do the package pile driver. When do we see the top rope brainbuster? If you've never seen it, you don't know, bro. He is going to do a top rope brainbuster onto that, and I think that's the move that gets them the win. Sami gets the pin. They celebrate. If you can get the old music back, and now you have a tag team division in the background. I'm still building DIY. I'm putting them back together. I want the Usos. I want the New Day. Build tag teams, WWE. Make me care. You could have one of the best tag divisions if you put some effort into it.
And either split up the tag belts or make one title.
Concur. And definitely get some new belts because them designs are just ugh.
I heard there's new ones coming, but I heard they are also very similar to the ones we have now.
I know. I saw. Is it the black strap? You saw those? Like I hope it's not those. I really do. I think Jay was on the brink of leaving where Vince was going. When they finally jumped Sami out of the bloodline, they should have Solo should be the one to start it. He should be crying like Nino Brown and let Jay put the nail in the coffin. Come on now, Damon. Wait a minute, Conrad.
I'll picture real quick on McKinney's thought. Solo's like not really involved, but Solo just slowly turns his back and lets everybody else beat the crap out of him.
Yeah, the setup, man. Adam says, wait a minute, did you say on the Insiders podcast, what if Solo's the one jealous of Roman and want the Usos back as a babyface because he's selfish about himself? Hubbard, I like it. Someone said KO, Gargano, Rollins, Drew, and Riddle.
I like that.
Braun Snoozman.
Yes.
Conrad, that's a good story. Very good, Conrad. I like it. Nice story also, Hubbard. War Games might suck if the men's match isn't 5 stars because 10 women. I'm an advocate for the ladies in one match. No thanks. Hey, listen. Whatever makes the money. I think Triple H is going to do well with War Games this year. Just build it up.
I just want to say this real quick. When it comes to War Games, they're actually, Conrad, they've already announced 2 matches. So obviously it's men and women, right? So the 5-man team, I think it should be down to 4, honestly. And Roman should have a match of his own, don't you think?
You could. I feel like this saves Roman, though, because I feel like now you're in protection mode. If that match with Rock is happening, put him in protection mode. What up, E? I can see them doing that as well. E said bring back the Winged Eagle for the WWE title. Drop the Universal and bring back an all-new big gold with the new logo. I'm all for it if they do that.
Good idea.
Love those belts. So Sean could walk around saying he's the real world's champion.
That's right.
Let's move into our second segment. And these are all designed by my man Hubbard tonight. He came up with the topics for this. This one is dealing with, I know y'all tired of seeing this picture every week, but
oh God, yep.
The legacy of CM Punk.
Don't get me started.
The legacy of CM Punk and what others will think of him if this is it. There were rumors this week. I can't remember who thought of this. Actually, I think it was Wade Keller said that he believes CM Punk is going to be bought out of his contract and they're going to let him go. Basically, like he's going to get paid and they're going to let him go. I'm going to kick it to you because I don't want to get into the nerdy stuff about this because I don't think a lot of people get the nerdy stuff about this.
Let me tell you something. I don't care who you are or what your situation is. When something keeps happening over and over and over again, it's not everybody else. It's freaking you. You're the problem. Now, yes, there's extenuating circumstances. There are things that were not his fault. But when you continue to have things not work out over and over, and for whatever reason it may be, maybe just bad karma, maybe just bad energy. I'm not trying to say it's all CM Punk's fault, but you know something? This is the straw that broke the camel's back for me because CM Punk got a brand new start after 7 years became world champion, got everything he ever wanted, and it still didn't work out. He still couldn't find a way to get along with others. He still couldn't find a way to swallow his pride, whether he was right, wrong, or in the middle. Swallow your damn pride for the alleged love that you have for this business. Shut up and indulge yourself in the fact that all the guys who I admit are hating on you are not world champion and you are. Keep your mouth shut, do your job, and go home to your wife every night and stop being a nuisance everywhere you go. It's a stain on his legacy. It's a stain on his reputation as a human. And this is coming from somebody who's a huge fan of his. But if it walks like a duck and quacks like a duck, it's not a freaking chicken. That's my take.
So, I'm going to let y'all know, CM Punk, if this goes to court, CM Punk's probably going to win. We don't know what else he knows. I'm pretty sure he's got friends in the business. I'm sure he knows more. And it's kind of like the Colt Cabana thing. Remember when that all first happened? Oh, Colt Cabana's right. CM Punk lied to him. He's told us all, you know? And then it came out, well, kind of not true. CM Punk told you, like, hey, you're going to kick into some money. I could do a GoFundMe. A GoFundMe? Like, you wanted the podcast interview. We're being sued. You're going to help? And it turned into this whole mess and ordeal. And some people have found documents saying otherwise. You could twist this and turn this however you want. But that situation was a real situation. And I'm here to tell all of you this, and you may not like this, but if me and my best friend are going through something and someone brought it up on television after the fact, you might get the same thing that other people got in that locker room from me. I'm just being 100% serious with you. There are times not to get in people's business, and that was a time not to get in his business. If he wanted Colt Cabana gone, he would have had that negotiated before he came to AEW. Remember, he was negotiating during the pandemic with Tony Khan and said, let's wait until the people are back at the right moment for me to come back. You don't think he would have said, yeah, and that Colt Cabana dude? Nah, fam. He's got to go. He would have did it then. He wouldn't have waited now. Well, why wait and then do all that? To just torment him? I guess if you think he's that evil of a person, but I don't know. His legacy it's something else, man. He's known as the guy who dropped the pipe bombs. He was the guy with the, I guess the old work shoot promos that got put into all of this. And I don't know. We're far from this day. I was so happy this day, Sean. Like, I could show you a picture. I took a picture of myself watching it because he is one of my top 5 like favorite wrestlers of all time.
Great.
I like him. Is he the most elegant in the ring? No, but this dude could talk you into wanting to see a pay-per-view. He could talk you into doing something. His passion, his words, it all meant something. Who knows what CM Punk means to Tony Khan and AEW at this point? I don't know. I don't know what it means to his legacy because Tony Khan wasn't disagreeing with what was said here. And what up, Chris Williams? I see you in the chat, bro. And Original Biggie, I didn't give you a shout out before too. What's good? What's good? I'm going to the chat real quick. Let's see here. BJ said he was done. Mr. Pro Wrestling said he was good the time he was there. I could tell by the Bullet Club thing that not a fan, I guess. I'm old, I'm tired, I'm over this news. Where's my muffins? Blame it on Ace. Strip all the EVPs, especially them ducks. Punk's too important. Let me see. Original Biggie said it's all about you. Hub, what exactly happened over and over? He left the Fed because they were running him down till he pooed in the ring. Well, that is true. He was waiting for a phone call and got fired on his honeymoon. Way different. I'm gonna let you respond to that one.
All right, so here's the deal for me, and I understand where E is going with this. I want to be clear. I don't think CM Punk is wrong in all this, but the picture I'm trying to paint here. Eventually, you run out of chances. And eventually it doesn't matter who's right, who is wrong. For those of us who are parents, for those of us who have people that we're looking out for, if you're not even a biological parent, you just have a kid that looks up to you, you have a niece or a nephew, or somebody you're trying to tell something to, or a best friend you're trying to give some instruction to or some advice to. Hey, listen, every relationship that you've ever been in, every girlfriend you've ever had, you've always had this stone cold attitude where I'm right and you're wrong, and you won't let it rest. And you've proven yourself right time and time again, but you'll fight to the death to prove your point, and it's run every single girl you ever had away. So you have to come to a realization: what's more important, being right or being in wrestling? Or to use my analogy, being right or continuing to push forward in your relationship. Because being right, and I've learned this as I've gotten older, being right is not all what it's all about all the time. I don't think CM Punk is wrong for giving receipts where he gave receipts. I don't think CM Punk was wrong when he left WWE. But when he came to AEW, he had to know that he was on a short leash. And he had to know that his legacy was on the line. So when all this stuff was happening, he had a choice. Either, as a matter of fact, I'll take it a step further. That same press conference where he said everything, he could have been like, you know what? He could have said exactly what I just said. I have my feelings about the matter. I'm not happy about it. But because I'm a professional and I love wrestling and I'm honored to be the AEW champion, I'm going to keep my thoughts to myself. Then there would have been no issue with CM Punk. People would have looked at CM Punk and said, hey, he's doing the right thing. He clearly cares about the profession. He clearly cares about the fans. What you guys are saying is, oh, you know what? Adam Page was wrong. The Bucks were wrong. Omega was wrong. He should have came at them. He should have defended himself. It's not always about that all the time. Sometimes it's about, hey, listen, what's your end game? Do you want to be a wrestler? Do you want to continue doing what you love? Do you want to do what you claim you love because of the fans? Well, you know what? You might have to bite the bullet on this one. Being right is not what it's all about all the time. That's my point.
I'm going to read a couple more of these, and then I want to get into it a little bit myself again on this subject before we head on out to the last one here. If it walks like a duck, quacks like a duck, it might be a young buck. Oh, that was good. Who found documents? I ain't seen one document against the House of Punk by Styles. I see what you did there. Cut it out with that insider lingo from Twitter. Conrad 100. Y'all think Punk's dude stroking the cat at the end of Inspector Gadget? Wait for Tony to fire Colt now. And I think that's another good point with all this that we've mentioned, though. This is more so about CM Punk's legacy, though, is what we wanted to focus on with this. All CM Punk needed to do was shut up and put butts in seats. I mean, he did put the butts in seats. Maybe, I don't know, man. We all know people like that, though, you know? They can't stay out of their own way. They got to get that last word.
Can I get personal for a second? You can trust me. You know I'm not going to go nowhere I'm not supposed to go. We're kids, right? You're raising kids, doing what you got to do for kids. Your kid gets into a fight at school. He's gotten into 4 fights at school. 4. The 5th time, the principal says no matter what, he's getting kicked out of school. Okay? Your kid gets pushed by another kid. But for all intents and purposes, he should be able to punch the kid, right? Defend himself. Do you tell your kid, hey, no matter what, fight, no matter what, do what you have to do, no matter what, you do what you have to do, no matter what? Or do you realize that in this particular case, maybe he has to show restraint because this is his last opportunity?
Yeah, because you can't. Where are you going to go after you get kicked out?
And where's CM Punk going to go now? I mean, I know he could go to Impact or New Japan if he wants to. Is that what he wants to do?
I don't think there's room in Impact. Bobby Fish is over there now. All that Triple H butt kissing. Yeah, that's right. I usually don't talk mess about wrestlers on public, but Bobby Fish deserves this. That was a sucker move he pulled. And he pulled the sucker move, too, when they called him out. Apparently, he tried to get Adam Cole and Kyle O'Reilly to leave with him. Oh, you know why? I'm about to tell y'all a fascinating truth, and I don't care who gets mad. You can tell whoever. Conrad Cushman said it, quoted, Bobby Fish ain't nothing without those two. If he ain't with O'Reilly, he ain't making money. promise you that. Promise. So have fun putting on some decent matches in Impact. I'm not saying you're a bad wrestler, bro. But what I'm saying is you're never going to make money. And that little CM Punk hate, Sean, this is the part that flabbergasts me. Now I'm into this. See, you did this on purpose. Sean pushes my button so I get all hyped up about this. Yo, when they do this stuff, isn't it funny? Everyone started talking mess and people can't keep CM Punk's name out their mouth now. Kenta talking funny with Bobby Fish, like, ha ha ha, yeah, I told you guys not to trust him. Triple H was always right. Y'all better remember who Triple H was before all this. Cut the malarkey. Dead serious. The dude married the boss's daughter. He would not be a 14-time world champion without it. I said it. It's a fact in my mind. He would not be a 14-time world champion. I'm sorry to break anyone's heart who loves Triple H. He's doing a good job booking. He's kind of changed his ways because he used to make fun of people like CM Punk. And he'd be like, you can't push him. Let me get the title again. What? When's the young guy finally going to rise? That was Punk's point. I think this wrestling business created the monster that became CM Punk. They made him like that. Fight for your spot, kid. You want to be on top. Do what you can. Be a locker room leader. He says it, Booker T's throwing stuff on the floor. Why are you doing that, bro? Why didn't Booker T show restraint? You see that's how Punk probably feels. Booker T didn't show restraint that day. He decided to G-check me in front of everybody. And I get some of this stuff with it. I just don't. I'm trying to put my fandom to the side here because CM Punk should have handled this completely differently. But I do think he was finally at the point of Tony didn't stick up for me in the interview. Tony said no comment instead of saying Punk didn't do it. You got the EVPs back there and half their friends hate this dude. Hi, Bobby Fish. They all hate this dude. They got connections in New Japan. They're widespread. And he said they're acting like this is Reseda. I get it because a lot of these guys are just their friends hanging around, palling it up. Even online, 80% of the people hate CM Punk. If this thing goes to court, CM Punk is going to win. Here's the headline, folks. Worker who just got injured is backstage in his locker room. EVPs come in without permission, obviously, because this is how this started. And a fight breaks out, and they were all beaten up. People were bitten, and things got out of hand. What does that sound like? The headline is going to read the EVPs of a company management came into someone's area, and then they got into a fight with them. Why are you fighting?
You know you're proving my point, right? I've said this from the start. CM Punk, no, that's a lie. I haven't said it from the start. You corrected me from the start, so I gotta give you credit for that a couple months ago. But I've said it almost from the start. CM Punk is right in this situation. All he had to do was show restraint. Everything doesn't require a clapback. Everything doesn't require a comeback. You scratch mine, I scratch yours. You poke me in my eye for an eye, tooth for a tooth, however you want to put it. CM Punk had a lot of leg to stand. He still has a lot of leg to stand on. But because he did what he did in response, now for all that bravado and all the truth, I admit the truth that CM Punk talked, where does that leave him now? At home. And where does that leave us without CM Punk? So who really wins here? Because you know what? The Bucks are coming back, and Omega's coming back. So who wins?
The question is, should they, Sean? I mean, I guess we could flip this for another topic next week, but should they be allowed to be back? Are they the problem? Because
I think yes, but you know what? You know what? They are the problem. They're big, probably 70% of the problem. But you know something? Now that CM Punk's gone, they'll be more likely to bring them back because they won't be worried about the potential fight that's going to break out in the locker room.
But Sean, so I want you to think long-term planning here when it comes to this. You're Tony Khan. If you bring them back, are you going to listen to their suggestions on some of their friends that they want to bring in now? Because I think that's what gave them the tight control that they had eventually. Even in the Cody situation, Cody brought in new people. Cody brought in Kingston and Ricky Starks and whomever. He had like Sami he was a big fan of, I think MJF. But then it was, we've got Jungle Boy. We got, all their friends who they brought in. And there's way more of them. Is that going to be a problem in the future when Tony's like, yo, you guys are fired? Well, us and 70% of the roster are about to walk out then.
You can't, you know why you can't ask me this, brother? You can't ask me what I would do if I was Tony Khan because I don't have Tony Khan's manhood. I'm more of an alpha male than Tony Khan is. I'm not gonna let anybody walk over me. And Tony Khan has had a history of showing himself to be somebody that people can walk over. I think he's a very nice guy. I think he's probably a very cool guy to hang out with. But you know what? He's the boss. We talked about this last week and the week before last. He's the boss who doesn't conduct himself like a boss. So you can't ask me what I would do if I was Tony Khan because I don't have Tony Khan's spirit. I don't have Tony Khan's mindset of being a guy that just wants to be friends with everybody instead of being a boss. You got to stand up and take control of your damn company. The Bucks and Omega, they work for you. You don't work for them.
That's a fact. That's a fact. It's different personalities, folks. You'll learn that in the workplace if you haven't already. There are different people and they do things differently and they like to be told things differently. I could go into a whole tirade about this or probably even teach a class, but we don't have time for that.
I'm mad. I'm fired up now because this is real life to me, bro.
Hey, listen, man. He already said it, bro. You know how I used to get when we did them 6-pack podcasts. Triple H buried all my faves, and I ain't forget, and I never will forget what he did to some of them. Bobby Fish was the mole the whole time. He could have been. I think what WWE did was dirty too, asking people for those contracts. Tony was being cool about it, but now look at the turmoil this has caused with Buddy Matthews. Malachi Black, like this has caused a lot of issues for their backstage. Now people want to leave. Andrade's putting hourglasses up. Like, if you guys want to go so bad, go. Like, I don't know. I don't know what's the best thing for Tony to do. You signed a contract for 3 to 5 years. Do you keep the guy and make him wait, or do you just let him go?
I challenge everybody listening to our podcast today, all of the EPW fans, all of the Hubbard Wrestling Weekly fans, go back and look at the post pay-per-view press conferences, including the most controversial one and all the ones before that. Who runs those media scrums? Who runs them? Does Tony Khan run them, or does anybody he's sitting next to run them? Tony Khan's a very smart businessman, and I would shake his hand. I'm not saying anything on this podcast that I wouldn't say to his face. I think you're a fan. I think you have love for the business, and I respect your love for the business. But brother, you better step up when it comes to your management skills.
I think that's a fair point that we can all agree to for Tony Khan. I just don't want people to act like it's the doom and gloom for AEW. I see a lot of fans doing that too, though, like they're done. They're WCW 2000. It's over. People fight in locker rooms. It's going to happen. And I don't want to just react like it's not a big thing what CM Punk did. The pie face thing with Eddie Kingston happened. It's not a big deal now. It's over. Stuff like that happens. People get heated. Be better. I personally hope, Sean, I'm going to leave this point on this. I hope it's not the end for CM Punk in wrestling. I hope he's able to come back. I hope that he can bring. I thought he was bringing good stuff to AEW. I want his legacy to be remembered for the good things that he brought to wrestling, the joy, all the people he brought back in. But only time will tell how fans will want him to be remembered at this point. Because I do think the wrestling media has kind of a twist as to how they're going to want him viewed after this, due to who they're friends with. Meltzer Driver.
I'm a huge fan of CM Punk. Make no mistake about it. The business is better with him than without him. But I have 3 words for CM Punk if he ever gets back in the business. Pick your battles.
Right? Demond talk about it's time for Tony by the Manscaped 4.0. Come on now. Shout out to everybody who's in the chat who have joined us. If you haven't, make sure you hit that like button. And also make sure that you are subscribed to Hubbard Wrestling Weekly. He's got some great content over on his side of the podcasting world. Subscribe to the YouTube channel if you like combat sports. He does some boxing, MMA, a little bit of everything, and some classic pro wrestling too. So make sure you guys are subscribed. He was trying to convince me about this WrestleMania 11, man. I'm going to need some money. I'm going to need something for this. I'm going to need a sandwich sent to my house. I'm going to need something, y'all. I cannot watch this alone. Like, someone else is going to have to feel this pain. WrestleMania 11 is a rough one. But speaking of things that I don't understand, like WrestleMania 11, Sean, what's up with this, man? What is the deal with the White Rabbit?
I mean, I think we all know what we want it to mean. But I don't count your chickens before they hatch. I mean, I like the build up. I just hope it doesn't let us down once we get to the crescendo.
Yeah, there's a lot, man. There's a lot going on with this. I mean, they're teasing. Were you disappointed with the SmackDown episode? You got the 923, and I guess someone was in the crowd with it. Then they cut to commercial and played the song. But what?
Yeah, that was a little bit of a letdown. You got to go for it. You can't have a Y2J countdown and then have nothing but another Y2J countdown in the commercial. Just using that as a crossover point. But yeah, the rabbit thing, I think it has potential, but they better hit big with it when the time comes.
Right, Deanna, that's what this is all about. Clash of the Podcasts. Every Monday, 6:05. Be here. You'll get some good debates out of us. Let me see here. People. White Rabbit is Bugs Bunny. Somebody said, I hope not. Listen, these clues have been really good, though. Like the Cole one here. These are the coordinates for Monday Night Raw tonight. There's something here with this. You've got fans talking and excited. I saw something that Triple H said nobody knows who it's going to be, and they're not suspecting who it is. And I'm like, well, is this going to be something bad? Like, is Madcap Moss going to pop up and be like, ah, it's me? I don't know what they're going to do with this.
It's one of those things, bro, that this has the potential to be just as bad as it has the potential to be good.
Who said Adam Rose? Matt Lopez, we are done. If that happens.
No, we're not done because that's shout out, ML. That's exactly what I was thinking. I hope I'm wrong, but that's the first thing I kid you not, that's the first thing. Adam Rose is the first thing that came to my mind.
I will cry, bro. That would be so bad. So, Braun just comes out, just ruins the night, bro. I'll turn whatever show it is off immediately. Braun
Strowman should be in the NWF, the No Wrestling Federation.
Controlling his narrative.
Yeah, please go somewhere else. Yeah, control. Oh my God, he's so terrible. He's so limited in every way. He's so limited. Golly.
Deanna said they dropped the ball. A says it's interesting. Did y'all get blocked by Teddy or not? I did not get blocked by Teddy Long.
No.
It actually made me feel like I meant nothing to this world because Teddy Long didn't block me. I'm pretty sure he got hacked, but it's still funny. Somebody said White Rabbit is Vince. I still don't want to hear that man's name, truthfully. It's Elias, just kidding. Someone said that there's a lot pointing towards Edge. They mentioned the Demon, Finn, Dominic. I won't say that word on stream. I don't know if that's a bad word on the YouTube realm. The Rabbit, the last one was taken out in a riptide, so maybe tonight it's about Priest. Okay. I like it because they're using social media to create content outside of the main shows. Okay. White Rabbit equals Braun in a bunny. Don't. I'll pay just to see Sean's reaction on TikTok. I will immediately go to his TikTok page and just do that. Worst tag team ever, Braun and Omos. Oh my goodness.
I'm starting to get a little notorious for bad rants. I'm starting to get a little notorious for that. I promise you, if Braun Strowman is the White Rabbit, I might get kicked off of social media. I might literally. I mean, for those of you who know me, I'm very faith-based, Christian-based. I might lose my crap like in a way that you've never seen if Braun Strowman is the White Rabbit.
Gonna have to call you caps lock like Kenta.
Oh my
all
God.
caps, just write whatever. So at the end of the day, is this a letdown, Sean? If it's not the Fiend?
Yeah, because I think we all want that, and that's the problem with us wrestling fans. And I love us for it, but I hate us for it. We want something so bad. We have in our mind what we think would be best for business, no pun intended. And when it doesn't turn out that way, we're even more disappointed than we would have been in the first place. One of the prime examples from a while back, I think it was 2015, when Daniel Bryan came back from injury and Rey Mysterio was number 30, and we hoped it would be Daniel Bryan or Bryan Danielson, however you want to say it. And they booed Rey out of the building because it wasn't Bryan.
Best baby face ever.
No, exactly. And the problem is that when us fans, we're so educated and so smart that we know what we want. And Bray being the White Rabbit or being affiliated with the White Rabbit or whatever the situation is makes the most sense. So when it turns out to be Braun Strowman, God forbid, I'm just throwing that out there, we're going to lose our minds in a really bad way. It has to hit big. You know what I'm saying? So, of course, I want it to be Bray Wyatt, but I think the whole world wants it to be Bray Wyatt, and unfortunately, we set ourselves up so many times for failure. I thought Rock was coming out at WrestleMania this past year. After Roman won, I thought Rock would set the challenge right there, and when the show, and you're watching the show and looking for the credits to pop up, and you're hoping for a Johnny Gargano Ciampa situation where the credits roll, but then something happens afterwards, and then the show goes off the air, and you're like, so I hope it's Bray Wyatt, but I wouldn't get my hopes up because you know how they do.
Yeah, I don't know if he's willing to come back. I know he was doing movie stuff for a little bit. Can I throw a scenario at you with you not getting mad? I need you to show that restraint you're talking about with CM Punk for 1 second that I read that I thought was interesting, kind of.
And don't you use my words against me, my CM Punk analysis.
Listen, you push my buttons, I got to push yours. So look, hear me out on this. Somebody said, what if it's all relating to Bray Wyatt?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And I don't know if it's the Fiend version of him. Personally, I like Swamp Daddy Bray. New Orleans Bray is my favorite. Like, I love when he's speaking in the tongues and whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Now, when you get into this, what if the Firefly Funhouse is the setup for this? The White Rabbit could be a Karrion Kross. Mm-hmm. His old gimmick from Lucha Underground. Sister Abigail. Scarlett. Scarlett could always say that was her role within all this. You dye her hair black, do whatever you got to do for it.
Oh, God.
Wait. Okay. Dexter Lumis as Mercy the Buzzard, putting on a little Hawaiian shirt. He wears.
Bring me down because right now you're 3 for 3. I'm loving it so far, but I know where this is going.
What do you mean?
I know
How many people? Am I missing anyone else who's in there?
I'm thinking you're going to end up with 5 people, including Bray Wyatt, and the 5th person. I think I know what you're going to say.
Then we have Huskus the Pig. What if it's Braun? I'm just saying. I'm not saying that's what you want. Maybe the Rabbit's Eric Rowan, and he's leading all of them. I don't know at this point what it could be. I see someone in the chat said, "What if it's Mustafa Ali?"
Okay, so you can't ever say, Conrad, that I'm unfair. I may get mad. I may get bent out of shape. It's part of my charm. But I always am fair. Braun Strowman has marketability as it relates to his size. But Braun Strowman, the only way I see Braun Strowman being successful and being someone that doesn't make me want to rip my eyes out of my face every time he enters a TV screen is if he has a mask over his face. To answer your question, I would not have a problem with Braun being in a revised Wyatt family, but it has to make sense. So I'm being fair. If Braun Strowman's a member of the Wyatts again, I'd be all right with it, I guess. God, it's like
Demond, no credit for me. Someone else posted that theory for it. I'm kind of following this just along to see what people are saying. Yes, Swamp Bray was awesome. I have one of his shirts. Me too. Someone said Huskers. Yeah. So all signs are there when it comes to this.
Strowman is so bad. He's so limited. Am I the only one who feels this way?
No, you're not. You're just more animated about it than us. I have given up care a long time ago. His best matches were against Roman Reigns, in my opinion. I'm not even being funny. Like, I really thought that was a good feud. After that, I couldn't tell you a thing I've cared about with him. The choo-choo train thing he was done. The moment I heard the woo, I was like, I know they didn't just do this to this man. He was going around like Thomas the Train.
Are you kidding me? You're a grown man.
And you're just running around on the outside like bullying your way into people. How about winning the match? Like, I don't know. I don't get it. It just wasn't cool to me. Matt Lopez is with this White Rabbit, and if Bray is him, does Alexa play a part in it? Maybe, because he always said he had that control on her. Maybe that comes back into play. Because to me, Alexa Bliss's character is lost.
I think so too. I love Alexa, but I think Alexa, since her time, as the goddess, has been limited. I think her time in the Wyatt family with the Fire High Five Funhouse was cool, and then it never played out the way it was supposed to. Now she's kind of like this hybrid, and it's whack. It's like she's not where she needs to be.
Yeah. And I could see them trying to fix that. Somebody said 305 Live with Big Show was pretty good. Hold on. I got to do it one time for when Derek listens to this. One time. See, you can't get away from it, Derek. You just can't get away from the Big Show. Once they turned him into Strowman Express, it killed him. Somebody said, Meanie from the Waterboy. Woo! I love it, man. But I appreciate everybody. People going nuts in the chat now for the Big Show. I appreciate everybody who took the time to join us tonight. I'm going to let Sean take us on out of here. Sean, let the people know what you got coming up this week. Y'all can catch me Wednesday, AEW Dynamite Review, back here on the channel, live with Derek. We'll be live following the show. We got Jericho versus Bandito. Some cool matches coming up. Come check us out, 10:05. Sean, what do you got cooking?
Yes. Make sure you check out Conrad on the AEW Review every Wednesday night. For Hubbard Wrestling Week, we got some crazy cool stuff coming up. Official Fight TV preview of Silva versus Paul. For all my boxing fans out there, that's a huge deal. A big preview coming up of Deontay Wilder's return to the ring. We're going to actually combine it into one big mega episode. And my special guest is going to be none other than former world-ranked boxer and ESPN Classic analyst, Iceman Scully. So we got a lot of big things going on. Of course, please bless us with a follow, with a share on Hubbard Wrestling Weekly's YouTube channel. Hit me on Twitter, Hub with 2Bs _wrestling, and my TikTok is Hub Wrestling _MVP. We appreciate y'all. God bless. Conrad, my brother, I appreciate you. And all of us listening out there, man, listen, this is what it's all about. We're having a good time. Professional wrestling, we love it. We know you love it, and we appreciate y'all. So with that being said, I'm your man, Sean. That's your homeboy, Conrad, and this is Clash of the Podcast. We'll holler at y'all next time.